So Zhiyun has been in the mobile video game for a while, always finding ways to improve things for users and adding features that really help mobile filmmakers and content creators up their game. And the Zhiyun Smooth 5S AI is no exception. Similar to the previous Smooth 5S, they've now added an AI tracker that lets you easily track a subject without needing a dedicated app. And in this video, I will walk you through everything you need to know about this gimbal and how you can use it to create professional mobile content. Now, before we get started, I want to thank Zhiyun for sponsoring and making this video possible. So let me give you a quick overview of the Zhiyun Smooth 5S AI gimbal. Starting at the top, we have the magnetic AI tracker. And then over here, you have a built-in spring clamp. Now this is a 3-axis gimbal, so you have a tilt, roll, and pan motor. Now on the tilt arm itself, you have a USB-C port that allows you to charge your phone while you're shooting. It also features a built-in fill light. And then at the front, you have different controls. So you have the menu, you have the joystick, you have a scroll wheel, you have the record button, and also a button to turn on the fill light. Now the scroll wheel can be turned and also functions as a selection wheel. Now up here, you have an indicator that shows you the different gimbal modes. Now to the side, you will find a 1/4 screw hole and the power button. On the other side, you will find a focus and zoom wheel, and also turns smoothly and is large enough to make those smooth adjustments. Now, not only do you have a 1/4 screw hole to the side, but also to the bottom, and a mini tripod is also included, which can be screwed to the bottom, which allows you to place the gimbal on flat surfaces and also create steady time lapses. Now to the back, you have a trigger button, a USB-C charging port, and a lock switch to lock the pan motor. So let's talk about this gimbal's build and design. So first, I really love the matte black finish. It gives it a professional and sleek look, and the build is sturdy. It fits nicely in my hands when holding it due to the rubber-sized grip, and I can also easily access all of the buttons. It also has a good weight to it. It's 647 grams, and this also helps to achieve steadier shots. I also love that you can lock each motor like so. It makes it super easy to carry around without any parts moving. Now, when shooting with this gimbal, this runs for an impressive 26 hours. And what's even better is that you can charge your phone using the USB-C port while you're shooting, since filming on a smartphone can drain the battery quickly. And to charge the gimbal fully, it usually takes around 3.5 hours, but if you use a fast charging cable, it only takes 2 hours. Now, what sets this gimbal apart from more compact gimbals like the DJI OM6 is its ability to handle a heavier payload up to 300 grams. This means you can add lenses and filters to your smartphone to enhance your videos, but I'll dive deeper into it when we talk about its key features. Now, I also really like the detachable magnetic AI tracker that can be placed in both directions, and this is also one of its highlights, and I'll dive into that more in the key features section. So let me now show you how to balance your phone on the Smooth 5S AI. Now, this 3-axis gimbal works like a traditional one, making it easy to fine-tune your balance. And this is especially important when you add accessories like a lens or filter. You want to balance it just right so it uses the least power. So first, I'll lock all 3 motors. Now, the pan motor has a lock switch, and the others can be twisted to unlock. Now, before inserting your phone, you must set the clamp to the right orientation. By twisting the mount, you can either shoot vertically or horizontally. Now, since this video will be for YouTube, I'll set it horizontally. And then insert your phone so the lens is to the left, and slide it all the way so that the phone's port touches the tilt motor. Now, be sure your gimbal is on a flat surface to balance it properly. The goal is to have the phone not tip on either side. Use the tilt arm and untwist the screw so that you can balance it out properly. And once you have it balanced, tighten the screw to lock its position and power on the gimbal. Now, when using lenses and filters, don't worry if it doesn't balance perfectly. Try to get it balanced as close as possible. If you want to use accessories with your phone, like connecting it to a microphone, leave a gap for the cable. What worked well is a 90-degree USB-C adapter to make it easier to plug it in. I used the included 1/4 screw to attach a mini magic arm and mounted the Rode Video Micro, which works great. So let's talk about the key features of this gimbal. Now, the newest feature is the magnetic AI tracker, which allows you to track yourself from a distance without the need of a dedicated app. And once you turn on the gimbal, you can just simply attach the magnetic AI and it will turn on automatically. Now, there is also a button on the back if you want to turn this one off. Now, the fun part about using the AI tracker is that the camera will detect and follow you by using simple gesture commands. So to start tracking, just hold up the OK sign. Now, as you can see, it's very responsive even if I move around fast. And what's great is that if I move behind object and reappear in the frame, the AI tracker will re-identify and continue tracking me. And to stop tracking, hold up your palm. And what makes the AI tracker even more convenient is that I can start and stop recording by holding up the peace sign. And this not only works with the ZY Cami app, but also with the default and Blackmagic camera app. If I want to record instantly, I can just hold up the L sign and you'll see it will start recording immediately. So by default, the AI tracker keeps you in the center of the frame, but if you want to be off center, simply move to where you want to be in the frame and show the box sign. You'll see that the AI tracker will keep you in that frame while tracking you. So how can this AI tracker be useful? Well, in many ways. For example, when vlogging, you don't have to worry about framing as it will keep you locked in the center of the frame. Also, if you're a solo creator who does a lot of self-filming like I do, then the AI tracker can be useful. I'll also give you guys an example later on. Also, this can be very useful for instructional videos or when doing video calls. Now, one thing I love about the Smooth 5S AI and why it's awesome for professional use is that it can handle a heavier payload. And this means you can attach third-party lenses like a telephoto lens by Sandmark with a VND filter on top. And for instance, this setup wouldn't work on the DJI OM6. Plus, with the available 1/4 screw hole, I can also mount a shotgun mic to complete the setup. So this gimbal is really a reliable choice for more serious and longer video shoots where you need to attach a case and additional accessories. Now, this might not be the most compact gimbal out there, but it's a traditional one that offers more power and great flexibility for professional use. And that brings me to the next feature, its extended range. Now, thanks to the classic 3-axis structure, the Smooth 5S AI offers more range mobility. And that means you can easily create crane shots without awkwardly holding the gimbal. With the DJI OM6, getting a crane shot takes more effort since you have to hold the gimbal sideways. Plus, when doing the vortex effect, it lets you rotate a full 360-degree with no limits, and I'll show you examples later in the performance section. Now, just for your reference, I'll quickly display the controllable range of the Smooth 5S AI over here. And then finally, there is the built-in fill light, which is super handy since you won't need to worry about bringing an external light. And this is especially useful when vlogging in darker environments where you can use the fill light to brighten yourself up. So let's now check out the ZY Cami app in order to expand the functionality of this gimbal. Now, I've already connected the gimbal to my phone. So once I open the ZY Cami app, it will automatically detect my gimbal and bring me straight to the camera. So we're now inside the camera of the ZY Cami app. I'm using the selfie camera. And if you want to head back to the home screen, just tap this icon up here and it will bring you back. And if you want to get back to the camera, just tap on the down left icon on the camera. So let's first look at these indicators down here. Right here, you can see the gimbal mode. It's currently set to follow. Then you have the battery life of the gimbal and the battery life of your phone. Then right up here beside the home icon, we have the standard shooting template. So when I tap on that, we have different video templates available that we can choose. And this is actually really useful for beginners. So if I tap on this street scenery shot right here, you'll see that I get the actual shot as well as the behind the scenes. So this is especially great if you're starting out and need some ideas on what shots to get. And they have a lot of scenery to choose from. And then by swiping down, you can move on to the next shot. Now on the opposite side of it, we have the smart shooting template, which is quite similar. So let's tap on one, for example, and select apply. Now you do get the shot as well as the behind the scene, but what this does differently is that it will actually create the shot for you. So it will also create the camera movement, such as maybe, creating the vortex effect or tilting the camera. And below you'll see the duration of each shot, which will then edit the clips together for you and also include a music. So this will make it even easier to quickly create a video that you can upload on your social media. Then below the home icon, you have the camera settings. So tapping on that, you'll see it's set to auto, but if you need more control over your camera, you can set it to manual, and then you can dial in your ISO and shutter speed. And right below you can see your shooting parameters, so your shutter speed, ISO, and exposure value. Then moving on, we have our resolution and frame rate. So the resolution is set to 4K and the video frame rate is set to 60 frames per second if you want to shoot in slow motion, or if I do a talking head video like now where I don't need to slow down the video, I set it either to 24 or 25 frames per second. But for now, I'll leave it in 60. Then below we have the glamour effect, which is not supported in 4K 60 frames per second. But if you want, a little bit of softer skin, you can apply that. Then to this side, we can switch between the selfie and rear camera. Then below you have the record button. We have the gesture control. So let's tap on that and you're given 3 options. So right now it's set to follow only, but we also have shoot only or follow and shoot. So by setting it to follow only, you can read down here, it uses gesture to trigger tracking only. And if you don't know what gestures are available, you can just select this question mark up here, and you'll see that by holding up the peace sign, it will trigger that action, and by holding up the palm, it will stop that action. And be sure to toggle it on. All right, so by holding up the peace sign, it should now start tracking me. Now, if you have gesture control turned off, you can also use the trigger button and it will automatically detect the person and start following. And if you want to stop the tracking, you can just tap the trigger button once and it will do so. And if you want to track an object, you can just draw a box around the object like so, and it will track it. Then below we have our media library, which shows all of the videos that we've taken and is also connected to the Photos app. Now, like on the default camera app, you can tap and hold to lock the exposure and focus. You can also slide up and down to adjust the brightness. So let's look at some other settings down here. So right here you have 2 options, so you can choose between walk and run, which will then adjust the gimbal's motors accordingly. Then we have the gimbal mode, so selecting that will show you all of the gimbal modes available. Then we have the joystick speed, the zoom speed. You can invert the pan, invert the tilt. Then over here, you can auto calibrate the entire gimbal. So if you have issues with it, you can do that. And you can also calibrate the gimbal motor itself. So if the horizon is slightly off for some reason, you can choose that and you can rotate the gimbal manually. Let's look at the shooting section. So right here, you can select your microphone. Right now it's set to the built-in, but you also have external and Bluetooth. Then you also have grids, which is set to grid lines. Then we have our white balance, which is set to auto. I don't recommend leaving it in auto when you're shooting. Now, I recommend choosing one of these presets. So if it's sunny outside, choose sunny, but I like to choose the custom and dial it in manually. So this looks about right, but for now, I'm gonna leave it in auto. Then you have HDR shooting and a selfie follow, which I'm not sure what it is. So I'm gonna select the question mark. When using the front camera in photo video, the camera will automatically search for the face and start smart follow. So that's pretty cool. Then we have general, which gives you additional information about the gimbal and other stuff. So let's now check out the zoom and focus wheel. On the ZY Cami app, you only have the zoom available. By adjusting the wheel, you can see that I can zoom in, and I can also do it gradually by slowly turning the wheel. Now, I don't use the zoom function that much, especially when digitally zooming in, because that can degrade the video quality. Now, if you want to use the focus, unfortunately, that is not available on the ZY Cami app. For that, you would have to use a pro app like Filmic Pro. Okay, so we're now in Filmic Pro, and I first have to connect the gimbal to my phone. So I'm gonna head over to hardware and then select Zhiyun Smooth 5S AI. So when I now turn the wheel, you'll see that I can manually adjust the focus, which is nice to create these rack focus. Then last, to the right, we have different shooting modes. So starting at the bottom, we got the smart template library that we've already seen. You can also use the ZY Cami app to live stream. We have photo, video, pano, slow motion, then the dolly zoom, which will show you exactly how to create that effect. Then we have time lapse and hyperlapse. All right, so I hope this gave you a good understanding on how to use the ZY Cami app with the Smooth 5S AI. Now, before I show you some of the shots I took with this gimbal, let me first explain to you what gimbal modes are available. So first off, we have pan follow, which locks the tilt and roll motor. So I can pan, but I won't be able to point the camera down, and also it keeps the horizon leveled. And then we have lock mode, which keeps the camera fixed at its position. Next up, we have follow mode, which is the one I use most often and follows my hand movement while keeping the roll axis locked. Next up is the POV shot, which unlocks all motors. So if you want to get more creative with your shots, you can use this to get this POV perspective. Then last, we have vortex, which you can see points the camera upwards, allowing me to position the gimbal this way. And by using the joystick, I can rotate the camera without any limits. Then you have sport mode. By double pressing the trigger button, the gimbal is more sensitive to your hand movement, which is great for capturing action type scenes. So I've set the gimbal to follow mode, and I'm gonna create a slide shot, and I'm gonna use the default camera app, and I'm gonna shoot everything in 4K 25 frames per second so that you can see how well this gimbal stabilizes the footage. My gimbal is connected to my phone, so I can simply press the record button and it will start recording. Now I'm gonna create a slow slide shot. So for my next shot, I'm gonna use the vortex mode. And for that, I'm going to use the ultra wide angle lens on the default camera app. And while I push in, I'm gonna use the joystick to slowly rotate the camera. And the reason why I'm close to this wall is to create some depth in my video. 3, 2, 1, and action. So the next thing I'm going to create is a crane shot, and for that I've set the gimbal to lock mode, which locks all motors and keeps the camera locked at its position. And by having it in lock mode, I'm able to create this upward movement without the camera accidentally tilting or panning in a direction. And if I need to make adjustments, I can use the joystick to refine my composition. Once I'm ready, hit the record button. I'm going to start low and action. And then slowly move the camera upward, like so. Now for this shot, I'm gonna set the gimbal mode to follow. I'm gonna use the ultra wide angle lens and create a push-in shot, and then sort of reveal the tower as I slowly tilt up the camera. And go. So for this shot, I'm gonna use the AI tracker, and I'm simply gonna hold up the OK sign as well as the peace sign so that it starts tracking me and also recording. I'm simply gonna walk around the corner as it tracks me. This way I can include myself and also get a nice pan shot. Okay, hold up the peace sign and it should start recording. Okay. Now, something else I'm going to try is get a shot of me walking, so I can actually invert the gimbal, use the ultra wide angle lens, and then I'm gonna place the camera as low as possible to the ground and then simply get a shot of me walking. And the gimbal mode I've set it to is pan follow. Now there is no built-in extension pole, but I can hold the mini tripod up here and action. So now that I have all of the shots, let's put them together to create the final edit. About the price, the standard version is $169 without the AI tracker. The combo version, which includes the AI tracker, goes for $219. The Pro version with everything else plus the fill light is $249. So who is this gimbal for? The Zhiyun Smooth 5S AI is definitely made for the pro mobile filmmaker. It's got the power to handle heavier accessories and gives you limitless control for those cinematic gimbal shots. Plus, its new AI tracking feature works without a dedicated app, making self-filming and vlogging a breeze without worrying about framing. Now let me know what you guys think about this gimbal, its new features, and how you would use it in your mobile content creation needs. Other than that, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment and I'll see you in the next one.